8th consecutive conference title. Standing in their way, 3 challengers. The surging number 5 Denver Pioneers, the number 22 Iowa State Cyclones, and the number 27 West Virginia Mountaineers, all hoping to find the formula to dethrone the Sooners. Only one thing is certain, it's about to be one heck of a show. Hello and welcome to the 2019 Big 12 Gymnastics Championship. We're at the epicenter, if you will, of collegiate gymnastics in the United States, the University of Oklahoma. Both the Sooner men's and women's teams ranked #1 in the nation, but today it's all about the women and the Big 12 Conference title. Welcome inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Hello everyone, I'm John Roethlisberger, joined once again by one of America's greatest, Alicia Sacramone-Quinn. Alicia, the regular season is over. Here we are in the postseason.
It has been a long season, but all of these teams are ready for today's competition for conference title winner.
And Oklahoma has had an amazing season. Their head coach, their leader, KJ Kindler, is going for an unprecedented, a record 8th straight Big 12 championship. She also has 3 NCAA team championships, as well as 10 total conference titles. But this, Alicia, might be one of the more difficult conference titles for her to win, most notably because of that team right behind them.
Denver is currently ranked number 5 in the nation, and this is only their 4th season in the Big 12 Conference, so they're having the best season in program history to date, and they have momentum on their side. Iowa State, they may be a little bit lower in the rankings, but they have a roster loaded with foreign talent and individual athletes that do event specialists, so they have been really trying to step up their game going in today. And then last but certainly not least, West Virginia, consistent performers, only counted 2 falls all season, looking to boost their team score to go into regionals.
So obviously the team competition is going to be heated, but there's some individual accolades to be won here in the Big 12, and we have had some unbelievable individual performances in the conference this year. Here's some of the 10s.
Oklahoma's Maggie Nichols started the season off with a 10.0 on the vault. She has continued that on throughout the season. Moving on to bars, Nicole Larimer just continuing to add 10.0 notches to Oklahoma's belt. Olivia Trotman, finesse athlete, as a freshman has really come in and put her stamp on approval on everything. And then Brenna Dowell, senior night, got that 10.0 she's been working for all season long. But Oklahoma really isn't the only team putting up 10.0. University of Denver's Lindsey Brown, the last meeting they had with Oklahoma, she got a 10.0 for herself.
And there's some others flirting with that 10. The rules of tonight's competition, 4 apparatus will be going simultaneously, so there's going to be a lot going on the floor. 6 gymnasts per team compete on each apparatus. Top 5 scores count. And this, unlike a dual meet in the regular season, there will be 4 judges per event. They drop the high and the low, and they average the 2 middle scores. First rotation, Oklahoma will be on the vault. Denver will be on the uneven bars. West Virginia will start on the very difficult balance beam, a tough place to start for a team. Iowa State will be on the floor exercise for their first event. So Denver getting ready to go here on the uneven bars. We'll try to keep you updated on all the scores all around the venue. This is Claire Kern. She is a senior out of Charlotte, North Carolina in Southeastern Gymnastics. How important are these first few routines, Alicia?
To start off the competition, they want somebody who's going to be a consistent hit, so it's momentum building to be that leadoff spot. Moving back up to the high bar for uneven bars, looking to hit that handstand.
Gives you a great idea of all the stuff going on the floor right now. It's crazy. 4-ring circus.
Duck that double layout dismount, small leg separation in the air, but a good hit routine for Denver on bars.
And do you feel like Denver needs to almost be perfect to push the top team in the country?
Denver definitely needs to be putting up the best score that they have to date to give Oklahoma a run for their money.
Quickly moving over to the vault. Oklahoma, an outstanding vault team. They are the only team in the country that has 10-0 start values on the vault. That is a huge advantage for them. This is Allie Stern. She's a freshman again, also out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So a couple of Carolina kids getting this competition rolling. One for Denver, one for Oklahoma. When we talked to KJ Kindler before this competition, and she said, you go to vault, you obviously have the start values, and they go and they look for 2, maybe 3 if they're lucky, stuck landings. If they can get that, they know they've hit it out of the park.
Already having all those 10.0s is always a huge advantage for them. And if they can get at least 2 or 3 stuck landings, that's going to be a huge differential between scoring for them and another team.
And what you hate as an athlete is standing there waiting. We'll see how Allie handles it.
Nice body position in the air. Just a little too much juice. I think that waiting around got her a little amped up, and she just didn't control that landing the way I saw her do it in warm-up. A lot of power, a lot of distance.
She's following Nicole Lehrman's 9.9 in the leadoff spot for Oklahoma. That is an amazing first score on any event. Scores coming in a little bit slowly. Now we're going over to the balance beam, where West Virginia is getting their competition going. Looks like they are also waiting for the first score from McKenna Lennon. We're going to jump back real quick. A moment ago, this is Nicole Lehrman. She was leading off the vault rotation. This is her 9.9.
Perfect body position in the air. That landing was a little bit low, but she made it work.
Oh, so close to being more than a 9.9. Wow. Claire Kern on bars, a 9.825. Very good start score there as well. Now I think we may be ready to go on the balance beam with Abby Kaufman. She has just been a rock for this West Virginia Mountaineers team this season. She has competed all around in every competition. Is looking through her results, she has only had 2 falls out of 48 routines. She's only had 2 mistakes this entire year. Quite an accomplishment.
Nice connection to a front toss of 2 feet to a beat jump. Back handspring, step out, layout, step out. Head coach Jason Butts described her basically as the heart and soul of this team. Ultimate team player, works super hard. A little bit wonky takeoff for that straddle jump. Looked like she didn't have her foot fully on the beam after the switch leap.
And I shortchanged Abby a little bit. She's only had 1 fall this season. It just happened to be that it was on the balance beam. Amazing consistency.
Switch leap, gainer full dismount. Just a tiny bit low on that landing.
That is an amazing start, though. Not sure that Abby could do a routine a whole lot better than that.
The acro series, that back handspring layout, step out, rock solid on her finish. Had to wait a little bit to go, but had a great performance.
And she followed McKenna Lennon's 9.97 in the starting position. Now this is Anastasia Webb again. Moments ago, another 10 of all. Allie Stern, by the way, a 9.8 for her vault.
Another Yurchenko, 1.5. Huge vault. She took a small movement forward before she saluted, but that was great.
I was going to ask you, what do you do with that? It looked like if she just settled in, she might have stuck that landing. But outstanding nonetheless, a 9.925. Diana Chesnick, the 3rd gymnast to go for Denver on the uneven bars.
Tad bit short on that handstand. Line change full to Tkachev over the high bar. Bail handstand.
Denver has a 9.825 and a 9.85 so far in this rotation on bars.
A little bit short on that handstand before the Giants for her dismount. Full twisting, double back, small hop. It was a hit. I think Denver needs to be a little bit tighter in their form if they want to get closer scores to 9.9 and that 10.0. Good control on the release. The half in, half out, also known as a full in, depending on how you want to call it. Good control. That was a nice routine.
You know, looking through the results from these teams coming into this competition, you know, at the end of the rotation, Denver can hang with Oklahoma, but it seems like those early or middle routines are where Oklahoma will get 9.9s, and the rest of the country, the best teams are like 9.85s, not quite there, and that's where they have that separation. Now, back over to the vault, freshman Olivia Troutman is the 5th up.
Yurchenko 1.5, big hop forward, just a lot of power on that vault.
Those of you that have been watching ESPN News, welcome to ESPNU and the Big 12 Gymnastics Championship. We are underway, partway through the first rotation. It's certainly been a good one so far. The heavyweights, Denver and Oklahoma, exchanging blows early. West Virginia and Iowa State starting the competition on beam and floor, respectively. Abby Kaufman, who we saw moments ago, a 9.725 for her balance beam routine. Iowa State on floor exercise, by the way. Two girls have gone, 9.7 and 9.775 for their first two gymnasts. And this is senior Brenna Dowell, and she has had quite a year, Alicia.
Last week was their senior meet, and she got a 10.0 on this very event. She has been a consistent competitor for Oklahoma and is really looking out to finish her career in the best way possible, hoping with another national team for title. But she's been clutch for this team so far. Nice height and power. Unfortunately, just didn't absorb that landing through her knees and ankles. Had that small hop forwards.
Some great vault for Oklahoma, but not the stuck landings that they were hoping for. Jade Degueva, she got a 9.8 for her vault. Olivia Troutman, who we saw, a 9.825. So very few 9.9s from a typically higher scoring rotation for Oklahoma.
There's not much to take away in that vault. Her form was very good. It was, again, just that small hop on the landing.
Nonetheless, the bar is set high for Oklahoma, and that by most standards is a great rotation, but they just gave away a couple tenths, 2 or 3 on those landings that they normally would want to have back. Now we are back over to the balance beam with West Virginia. This is Kira Koshinski. She's a senior out of Berwick, PA, and she's one of the other key players for this Mountaineer team. Jason Butts refers to Koshinski very glowingly, calls her one of the top recruits in West Virginia University history.
Kira getting ready to perform her acro series. Back handspring, step out, layout, step out. Opened her hips a little too early before she was trying to get her back foot on the beam, causing her to have a decent sized balance check.
9.9, by the way, for Brenna Dowell on vault to finish out the Sooner vault rotation.
Beat jump to split jump, to straddle 3/4. Aerial to back full dismount to a stick.
West Virginia still looking for their first 9.8 on balance beam. That could be it. They've been consistent, but just in the 9.7s so far for the Mountaineers. Now this is moments ago. This is Lindsey Brown. She is the 5th gymnast up. This is a great opportunity for Denver early in this meet. Oklahoma gave away a few tenths, and now with their big dogs up late in the lineup, the Pioneers got a chance to make a move.
Nice flow to this bar routine. Just a little bit of form breaks with her leg separation and soft feet on the skills. Ideally, you want to see a tight toe point. Nice double layout to a stick, fighting for it to not move.
Did she stay long enough before the step turn?
I think she held it long enough before the step turn, but the step turn wasn't as well controlled as she probably would have liked.
She is number 17 in the country on that event. Denver looking for their first 9.9. If they can find a couple of 9.9s, they are going to be very tight with the Sooners after one. Lindsey Brown, 9.925. That is humongous. One gymnast left to go for them. Back to balance beam with West Virginia, still waiting for Kira Koshinski. We're going to go back over to bars. Speaking of their anchor position, Maddie Carr.
Nice blind change full to Ginger. To immediate shoot over. Bonus points for connecting all of those skills together.
If Maddie can get a 9.9 or better, that will give Denver the lead after one, which if you had told me that, I'd said you're crazy with Oklahoma's vault.
Double layout, and she sticks it. That was huge for Denver.
She is going to get a 9.9 plus. No doubt about it. Lindsey Brown set her up perfectly.
Legs perfectly glued together. Does not move at all on that dismount.
Alicia and John are on 10-0 watch because we have not been at a meet, covered a meet that has gotten to 10-0, but Lindsey Brown with that 9.925 right before Maddie Carr set her up great because Maddie Carr's routine was better. The judges have to go up.
That has to be a 9.95 minimum in my opinion.
Now this is senior Carly Galpin from Boonesboro, Maryland. The fifth gymnast up, Kira Kashinsky, just a 9.625. So important for West Virginia to finish strong here with a couple big numbers.
A nice, well-controlled back handspring layout. Step out. Showcasing her flexibility there.
Maddie Carr does not get the 10, but she does get a 9.95. Denver with the early lead.
Sheep jump to split jump. Very difficult connection. Aerial to back full dismount to a stick. That was definitely a routine that West Virginia was looking for.
West Virginia, again, showing what they do, staying consistent from one routine to the next. Now Molly Rush for Iowa State.
Opening up with a double pike.
Beautiful. Iowa State on 4.97, 9.775, and 2.98 with two gymnasts to go, including Molly. There are your Denver bar results. Great performance for them.
Gorgete half, straddle full to split full. Front handspring, front fold to front pike. Last tumbling pass, round off back handspring, double tuck. A little bit short on that landing, kicked it open too soon.
There's head coach Jay Ronayne in the corner with the congratulatory double high fives on the balance beam. For West Virginia, this is senior Jackie Tunn.
A nice back handspring layout step out.
Jackie is from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and gymnastics center of Chattanooga. Adam Bird, the head coach there, quietly one of the best junior coaches in the country.
A nice switch side.
Jackie actually competed for the first time on balance beam last week, if you can believe it, and she put up a 9.9. So this competition, she is scheduled to do the all-around, and it will be only the second time this season she has done so.
Full twisting gainer off the side. Had that small step on the landing, but a very clean and controlled beam routine. Cartwheel, gainer, full off the side. Just had that small little step turn at the end to try to fight for that landing.
Beautiful gymnastics from Jackie. Now finishing up the floor rotation for Iowa State, this is Megan Sievers. She is a senior out of Gary, South Dakota. Jay Ronayne calls Megan the most impactful gymnast on and off the floor, and gave her an incredible compliment, I think, when he said she is uncommonly determined to do whatever it takes.
Opening up the floor routine with a front double full to front tuck. Had a little too much power, unfortunately went out of bounds.
And that is an unfortunate big out of bounds. Get a deduction for going out of bounds, as well as the big hop that she took to get there.
I appreciate them taking the risk of doing a difficult combination pass, but unfortunately there's sometimes it does happen. You have to take the mistake. Front handspring full to front pike. Definitely a more controlled landing after that second tumbling pass.
Iowa State's had 3 consecutive 9/8s heading into Megan Siever's floor routine. Iowa State and West Virginia have eyes on the regional championships in a couple weeks, hoping also to improve their ranking to put themselves in a good spot to maybe catch Lightning in advance.
Finished their team strong, even though started off with a little bit of a mistake on that landing. Just had a little bit too much juice going into that first tumbling pass. The front double full to front tuck. Just opened up too soon. It looks like her upper body wasn't all the way around to see where the corner was at when she was trying to land, but definitely more controlled on the other landings throughout the rest of her routine.
Waiting on Megan Siever's score. Jackie Tun put up a 9.8 to cap off the West Virginia beam rotation. That was the highest score on that event for the Mountaineers. We touched on Oklahoma and Denver, both with solid rotations, but Alicia, Denver taking a little bit of an advantage of Oklahoma's deductions on their vault landings.
That's what's so great about these competitions, is anybody can win at any time, because gymnastics, obviously, it's a judging sport, it's subjective, and it's all about who's, you know, catching fire and getting those landings and hitting the form that needs to be done to get those scores.
So that is the first rotation. As we wait to rotate, again, thank you to those watching ESPN News. Thank you for joining us on ESPNU for the remainder of this Big 12 championship in women's gymnastics. It's certainly, after one, looking to be an exciting one. We are going to talk a little bit more about the individual competitors and the all-arounders vying for that Big 12 title in that individual accomplishment when we come back. Welcome back to the Lloyd Noble Center on the campus of the University of Oklahoma, and it's going to be a good one, Alicia. Denver's got an early lead, just a .075 lead, and it's close, but that is such a big deal, I think, because of where Oklahoma started on the vault.
Oklahoma has definitely all the depth and quality they need on vault. They just didn't have those landings. So for Denver, this is a big confidence boost for them.
And they're going to beam next, so if they can stay there after beam, that's big. Now, we mentioned the all-around going to break, and this is a big deal here in the Big 12 to win that Big 12 all-around title. It's early, but we've got a great slate of all-arounders, and right now at the top, Maddie Carr for Denver battling Anastasia Webb and Lindsey Brown for that top spot.
You know, there's a lot of gymnastics left, but if my prediction is you're going to see Carr battling out that top spot, now it's who's going to be in number 2? Is it going to be Anastasia Webb, Brown, or Dowell? I think those 4 athletes are going to be battling out for that top spot all day long, excuse me.
I agree. And Anastasia Webb, she was outstanding on the vault. Here's another look at her.
That's beautiful. Your Chenko 1.5. Just that small, minuscule hop forward on that landing.
And that's the risk Oklahoma takes with those 10 vaults. They're all 4 landing and all tough to stick. Here's Maddie Carr, the current leader.
That double layout to get that 9.95 that gave Denver the current lead.
And when we talked to the head coach from Denver, she mentioned, Marilyn Kuchar-Reinhardt, she mentioned her 2 studs, Maddie Carr and Lindsey Brown. And they are really going to be at the end of those rotations every time, and they are a big reason right now. That end of that bar rotation, they put up some big 9.9s, and that is why, after one, Denver has the early lead, and it is early. Rotation 2 is right around the corner. Oklahoma to bars, Denver to beam. Don't go away. From an Oklahoma score after one rotation, the visiting Denver Pioneers, the .075 lead over Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Denver are already separating themselves a little bit from Iowa State and West Virginia, but we have 3 events yet to go. The NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One continues tomorrow at noon and 2 Eastern on ESPN2 with second round matchups. Check local listings for games in your area and catch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app. So much going on in the world of sports right now. Gymnastics, basketball, obviously at the top of that list. Here are the all Big 12 gymnastics team honors for 2019. A heavy dose of Denver and Oklahoma, Alicia.
You see a nice mix of those two teams, and they will not be awarded till after the competition. You do have Kira Koshinski in the mix as well from West Virginia, but these are the athletes that are in the running for these titles.
Oklahoma rallies around the chalk tray. They know they're in unfamiliar territory, especially at an event that they dominate the vault. They did not expect to be in second right now as they are moved to the bars. Denver now to beam, which is pivotal, because if they can get through beam and get through clean and be in the lead still or close to the lead, that bodes well for them with floor and vault yet to come. Iowa State goes to vault. West Virginia goes to the floor exercise, and that would be a nice little battle to watch as well between Iowa State and West Virginia. They are ranked close in the national rankings, 22 for Iowa State, 27 for West Virginia, so certainly those two teams wanting to get in that third spot. Now Anastasia Webb in the leadoff position for Oklahoma.
Hitting that handstand on the high bar, pack salto. Handstand to a Corkina. Back up on the high bar. Toe hand to blind change. To double front dismount with a half out. Small hop on that landing. Now this is something we're not used to seeing from Oklahoma. They are all about the fine tuning and the polishing and those stuck landings. To see that many mistakes from them, it's a little peculiar. The blind change to the double front half out. Just had that small scoot backwards. They typically practice the day before a competition, and they took yesterday off.
Here we are onto the ball, and this is Orega from Iowa State.
A nice Yurchenko full. Had that small scooch of a jump and step or forward, but a nice start for Iowa State.
Ariana Orega from Lima, Peru. Just a sophomore. Here is your Lloyd Noble Center. A nice crowd. Obviously, they curtain off half of the arena. You're getting the view from the crowd side. Crowds growing for women's gymnastics across the country, and that includes Oklahoma, which before KJ Kindler got here, big crowds at gymnastics weren't a thing, but they have steadily grown through her tenure, and I think this year they've seen some of the biggest crowds in the history of the program. Now we're going to stick to the vault with freshman Kelsey Boychuk.
Yurchenko full. A lot of power on that vault. Hike the landing down a bit, causing her to take that decent-sized jump backwards.
Yeah, it looked like she just needed to stretch that out a little bit and might have stuck that landing. Now back over to the uneven bars. This is Alex Marks, a senior. KJ Kindler talked about how this year they've had to do things a little differently, Alicia. They've had some injuries. We'll talk about Maggie Nichols later in this competition, but they've had to overcome some obstacles, which is weird. We're talking about that because they're the #1 team in the country, and from the outside looking in, it looks like it's just business as usual. But some different people have had to step up, and most notably, Alex Marks. She has not done bars for this team in her entire tenure at Oklahoma until this season, and she has been a stud all year long on uneven bars for them.
She's moving back and forth on the bars, back up on the high bar now. It's been a clean routine so far. See if she can stick that landing. Full in, half in, half out. A little bit soft legs. It looked like she wasn't ready for the mat to hit her feet.
Beautiful bar worker, though. Anastasia Webb, by the way, ties the season high of a 9.9.
Great routine. Just that soft landing on the dismount.
Iowa State on their first two vaulters, a 9.775 and a 9.725. Now we're going over to floor exercise with Abby Kaufman. She is one of our all-around competitors. She follows McKenna Lennon's 9.75 in the leadoff spot.
Opening up with a round off back handspring double pike. Second tumbling pass, front handspring, front fold, a front layout. Gorgite half, straddle full. Ninja Turtle spin. We haven't seen one of those in a while, John.
Our first one of the year. Better late than never. Alex marks a 9.9 on bars. That is a career high for her.
Last tumbling pass. Ending with a double tuck.
And you can see what Jason Butts, the head coach from West Virginia, is talking about. She is just a rock. She just grinds through these routines, makes it look easy for her with a smile on her face.
Finished that routine with that nice double tuck. Kicked it out, showing off her choreography at the end.
Moments ago, this was Kelly Martin. She is a senior out of North Haven, Connecticut.
Yurchenko full. Tried to fight for that stick, just kicked her legs open a little too soon. You can see them split right as she hits the table. If she could just squeeze that together, she'd be able to stick and control that vault a little better.
Just a little scooch. Iowa State 9.775 and a pair of 9.725 leaning into Kelly Martin's vault. We're going to go back over to the uneven bars with Brenna Dowell, currently sitting as the 4th highest all-around scorer, just after one event, however. She's following Carrie Thomas, who went moments ago for Oklahoma. Denver, meanwhile, they are on balance beam. They started out with a nice 9.8. However, Alexandra Ruiz put up a 9.65 in the 2nd spot, and that is, if you're going to win the Big 12 title, a 9.6 of any kind, if you're going to count it, is unacceptable. They can drop a score. Don't forget, 6 up, 5 count. But now that puts pressure on the last 4 Denver Pioneers to hit and hit strong, because Oklahoma, they are bringing it on bars. Carrie Thomas, a 9.925. That is a career high for her as well. Ties a career high, actually. So we've got a season high and 2 career highs so far for Oklahoma. They look angry.
You know, they're probably not used to having not the top spot going into the next rotation, and maybe they don't even think about that. But all of these athletes on the Oklahoma roster always have a look of determination on their face while they're competing. They're never relaxed. They're always very focused. Big release move. Looks like she caught that on her fingertips.
Well, she missed that in warm-ups, and it was big in warm-ups, but made the adjustment.
Nice bail to handstand. Just the dismount remains. Double layout, perfect form, small hop on that landing.
That was near perfection other than that little hop.
Big air time. She caught it. It was definitely further out than the one she did in the nice stuck landing. Brenna made the correction she needed to from warm-up and did a beautiful bar routine.
Kelly Martin on vault got a 9.8. Now this is Sophia Steinmeier in the 5th spot moments ago.
She vaulted over Yurchenko 1.5. Had nice distance and just a little bit soft legs on that landing, but a great vault, nice form.
Just a 9.8 on that 10.0 start value vault, so they clearly hit her on that landing a little bit. Judges not letting you get away with much on vault so far in this Big 12 championship. And this is Alexis Vasquez for Denver. Mia Sundstrom now the 3rd gymnast up for Denver, a 9.85. So they got things back on track. 3 gymnasts to go. Starting here with Alexis Vasquez.
This is Denver's best event. They are ranked 3rd in the nation. So the fact that they're struggling a bit is surprising. Maybe the nerves or the excitement coming off bars leading the competition has gotten to them a bit on balance beam. They need to keep their composure and just do what they know how to do.
Well, their last 3 gymnasts are all ranked in the top 15 in the nation. The highest of which, as you mentioned, Alexis Vasquez is number 5.
Front aerial. 2 back handspring layout step out. Absolutely beautiful.
Brenna Dowell, by the way, 9.9. So that 10th step on the landing might have been the only thing keeping her from perfection on the uneven bars.
difficult leg upturn.
Done perfectly.
Just some choreography. Finishing the routine, aerial to back full to a stick. That was a great beam routine.
And it's crunch time for Denver, and they're answering the call. They've got 2 yet to go. Maddie Carr and Caitlin Shao. They're going to need big numbers, but it's heading in the right direction. And it needs to, because Oklahoma surging on a great event for them. #1 ranked in the country. This is Nicole Lehrman. Oklahoma rather ranked #1 in the country on this event. This young lady, #3.
Line change to Big Jaeger. Beautiful form, tight body. Potentially could have been short on that handstand depending on how nitpicky the judges are being. Bailed a handstand. Hitting that handstand on the high bar. Half in, half out. Small step on that dismount.
The NCAA co-champ on this event in 2017 does the job. Just this small little step, Alicia.
Great bar routine. Honestly, her form is immaculate, and it's just unfortunate just that one little leg just couldn't stay glued to the ground.
And it looks like so far it's unusual for Oklahoma. They're a very good sticking team, but I don't think we've actually saw a stuck landing between vault and bars yet. So now back to the balance beam. This is your all-around leader after 1 rotation, Maddie Carr. #10 in the nation on this event, #4 ranked in the all-around nationally.
Aerial back handspring step out, just a small balance check. She looked very crooked on the takeoff of that aerial, so the fact that she was able to fix that in the air and stay straight was awesome.
Alexis Vasquez, right before her, got a 9.9. Ooh, a little jittery it looks like.
It's a big competition. Maybe the adrenaline is just getting their nerves going. Nice split full, rock solid on that landing.
Alicia, if you have a wobble early in your routine, how hard is it to recover and not think about that the rest of your beam routine?
A wobble's okay to try to turn the page and not focus on, but a fall is a little bit difficult. I think she pulled it together even though she had that slight balance check after her acro series.
It doesn't feel like a 9-9, which they really need. She had a couple errors.
The hitch kick to aerial. She kind of covered it up well with the way she's supposed to land, but the judges will still know that that's going to be a small deduction.
Now this is West Virginia's Jackie Tunn. We saw her on balance beam. Here she is on floor exercise.
Whip back to double full. Switch side straddle full.
Talking to Jason Butts, he said Jackie Tunn is kind of a coach's dream. She's one of those gymnasts that always does the work, does extra work even when she's not asked. Doesn't really need a lot of coaching, he says. She is a self-driven young lady.
Front handspring, front 1.5. Great routine for Jackie.
Trying to keep herself in the conversation in the all-around, certainly going up against some big dogs in that category. This is Maggie Nichols moments ago. As we mentioned, Maggie not doing the all-around, battling some knee and foot injuries, but she can still shine on the uneven bars and balance beam.
Big ray release move on the high bar to immediate pack salto. Hitting that handstand on the low bar. Toe handstand to a Corkina, back up on the high bar. Great form and lines. A former elite gymnast, thriving in her college career. Sticks that dismount. Great routine for Maggie Nichols.
And I guess we're just jinxed, Alicia, because we are not going to see a 10. That was a 9.95.
We can see leg separation on that angle, but judges definitely cannot.
No.
So I don't know where they got that deduction to not give her a 10. If that was not a 10 routine, I don't know. I need to get my eyes checked.
Nicole Lehrman right before Maggie Nichols got a 9.875. Nonetheless, they have got 5 scores, 9-9 or higher, does Oklahoma on bars. Looks like they will get the lead back. Maddie Carr just a 9.8 for that balance beam. They have one left to go there, and this is the final gymnast for West Virginia on floor exercise, Kira Koshinski.
Big double layout to open up the routine.
Kira's number 23 in the nation on this event.
Gorgeous half straddle full to Shishinova. Round off 1.5 to front layout.
Having a good time. That's what it's all about, right?
I think Kira's having the most fun in the building. Just the last pass remaining for Kira. Double pike. Controls that landing. Great routine for Kira Koshinski.
Great finish for West Virginia on that event. They had a decent rotation here. They started off with 3 scores in the 9.7s, but will finish with all 9.8s or higher as soon as Kira Koshinski gets a 9.8 plus, which it looks like she will.
That combination pass, the 1.5 to front layout. Line landing, she knows exactly where she is, wasn't close to the corner. And then finish that routine with that double pike to that nice landing.
So Kira putting herself in the conversation for the Big 12 title on the floor exercise. West Virginia always having a good time. That team, they always have smiles on their faces, and today, good reason to have, because they are starting off strong. And that is the Denver beam results there on the right-hand side. Caitlin Shao finishes with a 9.9. So that was a good rotation for Denver. I would not call that a great rotation. A 49.25 for Denver on that event. They have a season high of a 49.6. So the scores are in through 2 rotations, and Oklahoma gets the lead back. They have a .25 lead now over the Denver Pioneers. Big swing. When we come back, one more episode. You love it. It's the J&A Academy after the break.
The REAL ID Act goes into effect in Washington State on October 1st.
It's the final episode. I know everybody at home is disappointed, but the final chapter of 2019 for the J&A Academy. And Alicia, this week I thought it would be perfect if we talked about the postseason. Everybody likes predictions. We're in the middle of madness of sports right now, and we're going to make a few predictions about gymnastics postseason. There's a different format this season, getting to the national championships and the finals at the NCAA championships. And we're going to make some assumptions. We're going to start with the top 8 teams, and here are your current top-ranked 8 teams in the nation. And as we make our predictions, it could change after this weekend, but we are going to make a prediction based on assuming these are our top 8. And Alicia, I'm going to put it to you first. Of those top 8 teams, who outside of the top 8 do you think could surprise one of those top 8 and get into the NCAA semifinals?
My sleeper pick and the dark horse, I think, is number 9, Kentucky. They had a slow start to the season, but they have hit their groove and they've been building momentum. They have great team leadership under Sydney Dukes, Alex Highland, and Molly Korth, and they have the potential to go into Athens, if it stays as is their ranking, and take on the Georgia Gym Dogs. They were there not too long ago, and they lost by .075. They were right on their tails, and I think they can give them a run for their money.
So Kentucky's not afraid, apparently, to go into Athens and compete against the Gym Dogs, who, if you go by the seedings again, that is where Kentucky would go, and that's probably who they would have to beat to make it to the semifinals. So I let you go first. You got to pick Kentucky. I may or may not have picked them if you hadn't picked them, but I'm going to go just a little bit further down the rankings, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are going to love this, but I'm going to say Minnesota, the number 11 ranked Golden Gophers. They have been surging late, like Kentucky. They have been surging late in the season. They put up some big scores. Their high score of the season is right up there with some of the top 8 teams in the country. They have got a stud in Lexi Ramler. She is top 10 ranked in the all-around, and she can compete with just about anybody as well. Jenny Hansen, their head coach, was just named the Big Ten Coach of the Year, so she knows how to get it done. I'm going to throw out the Minnesota Golden Gophers as a surprise top 8 semifinal NCAA team.
Minnesota, huh? Not a homer by any means.
What are you talking about?
Really? Just playing coy?
Just
okay,
because
John,
I went to Minnesota doesn't mean that I can't be objective. But so those are two of our possibilities to get into that top 8. I'm going to put you on the spot right now, though, because the top 8 go to the semifinals.
Okay.
Of those top 8, 4 make it to the finals. Quickly, who's your prediction for a team that could shock those top 4?
I'm going to go Denver. If they keep performing the way they have been in the last couple weeks, they could really be in top 4 contention.
Well, there we go. We're watching them right now, and we will see them in the next rotation. Halfway through the Big 12 Gymnastics Championship, Oklahoma with the lead at the halfway point. A lot of gymnastics yet to go. Rotation 3 around the corner. This is the University of Oklahoma. John Roethlisberger, Alicia Sacramone Quinn. We are halfway through this conference title competition. Going into rotation 3, West Virginia on vault. Iowa State will be on bars. Oklahoma moves to the balance beam. Meanwhile, Denver will be on the floor exercise. So Denver gets the early lead after 1. Oklahoma says, not in our house. They get a nice lead, 0.25 at the halfway point. That is actually a pretty nice lead for them, especially when you consider they're going into another event where they are number 1 ranked in the country. How's their confidence level, would you think, Alicia, at this point?
If you just watch their team and their dynamics, they're very stoic, and they don't get overly excited. They try to keep it calm, cool, and collected throughout the whole competition, and I appreciate that about them. So even if they are feeling a little bit of the heat, they're not letting it show in their performances or on their faces.
So we're going to start out on the floor exercise with Denver's Mia Sundstrom. She is a sophomore out of Boulder, Colorado. They really need to stick the landings. I'm sure they wouldn't complain if they got a couple wobbles out of Oklahoma on beam, but for them, they just need to do their job.
Opens up with a double tuck. You see that extra matting there, perfectly okay to use as long as the out of bounds lines are marked on the mat. Second tumbling pass, front layout to front full. Nice, well-controlled landing. Switch half to wolf full. Switch full, beautiful jump. Very difficult to switch leap, but within the air, they're just doing a full turn to get all the way around to the same direction she started in.
So good start for Denver. Got some big guns coming up later in this rotation for them. Certainly ones that could push that 10-0 margin. Now over on even bars, this is Madeline Landcamp.
Mounting up onto the high bar. Pop to Pike Diego.
Maddie comes out of Lannon, Wisconsin, in LaFleur's Gymnastics. Greg LaFleur, the owner of that club.
And as bail handstand from the high to low, and now she's back up on the high bar. Finishing up the routine, double layout. Oh, was fighting for that stick. Just needed a little bit more rotation to get on top of her feet. That nice Pike Jaeger. Good control on the glide into the kip. Great body position in that air. She just needed more to be back with her chest to have a better absorption through her knees and ankles for that dismount.
Maddie is a walk-on, and Jay Ronayne said she has really learned how to be a competitor, and you can see with that bar routine. Now back over to balance beam. This is Brenna Dowell preparing to go, waiting for Olivia Troutman's score. Olivia was the first gymnast up. And meanwhile, on floor exercise, Mia Sundstrom got a 9.775. Not a terrible score, but for a top 5 team, anything below a 9.8 is not good enough, especially when you're competing against the #1 team in the country. Olivia Troutman a 9.85. Now Brenna Dowell.
Brenna getting ready for her acro series. Front aerial, small balance check. She was ideally going to connect those.
Brenna is new to beam this year.
Front aerial to back handspring step out. So she had to repeat the skill so she could get her acro series, which is a requirement to start from a 10.0.
Savvy veteran knowing to redo that skill.
Switch leap, switch leap.
Talking with her coaching staff, they said this has been really important for her to get into the beam lineup. It's kind of just been a personal goal to be an all-arounder and compete balance beam, and she's made it her mission, and she's done it, and she's been good on this event this year. She's currently ranked in the top 20 in the country.
Full twisting back handspring, a little bit crooked, but she manages to fix her body to stay on the beam.
Brenna is a world champion as well, as part of the 2015 U.S. team that won gold.
Front full dismount, small hop in the landing. Not her best routine, but she was quick enough to realize, okay, I need to repeat this skill, otherwise I'm going to have a really big flaw. So when she did it the second time, she was straight on the beam, and it got exactly what she was supposed to do the first time around. So I'm sure she's frustrated, but she didn't fall, and she managed to finish the routine strong.
And she's shaking her head. She knows that she gave away a few too many little deductions, but good fight nonetheless, and that really gives you that insurance too. You just got to avoid that fall. Now Laura Burns will be next up for Iowa State on the uneven bar. She follows MJ Johnson's 9.8 and Maddie Langkamp's 9.775.
Nice ray on the high bar. A little bit loose body position, trying to fight for that handstand, toe handstand. To bail, to Chinese catch back up to the high bar. Building momentum for that dismount. Double A, which rose above the bar. That was a very nice double A out dismount.
You can see the very excited Nilson Savage. Second year for him at Iowa State as the assistant coach, the main bar coach as well.
Watch it rise up before she did that second flip. That was amazing.
She kind of hollowed out. I'm waiting for the twist.
I know.
Moments ago, this is Jackie Tun on the vault.
Nice tight body position, Yurchenko full. Needed a little bit more height, in my opinion. It had a lot of distance. Looked like a flat vault, in my opinion. But nice body position, just needed a little bit more height off that table. West
Virginia with 9.75 in the leadoff spot, then a pair of 9.8s, including that vault from Jackie Tun, and Abby Kaufman right after her got a 9.8. Now we are back live with Kira Koshinski. She is number 6 in the nation on this event, has a high of a 9.95 on this event. Don't forget, West Virginia not in the hunt for the team title here, but individual accolades on the line, and this is an event that Kira absolutely, she could get this title, but she's got to stick that landing.
Her teammate hyping her up before she goes. I think that's awesome. Yurchenko 1.5. Oh, she was looking for that stick.
It's going to be close. You know, Oklahoma did a bunch of those, but they didn't stick the landings. That one was clean, small hop. She's going to be in the mix.
Nice body position. Oh, such a small movement of her feet. Great distance, good height. She almost had that landing too.
You will not see many more better 1.5s than we just saw from Kira Koshinski. Tonight, after top-ranked boxing at SportsCenter with John Anderson and Steve Levy, they'll have all the must-see plays from Murray State and Florida State. Plus, KD leads the Warriors minus step against the Dallas Mavericks. And UFC heavyweight champ Daniel Cormier joins the show to break down Pettis Thompson. SportsCenter, midnight Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. So we are about halfway through this third rotation. Just to update you, Oklahoma's first two scores, 9.85. Brenna Dowell only a 9.725. So Alicia, you nailed it. Too many little deductions. Meanwhile, Denver on floor starts with a 9.775 and a 9.8. So pretty even for those two teams. West Virginia rolling through vault. Kira Koshinski, a 9.9. Honestly, I kind of thought a 9.95 was in play for that vault.
It was a nice vault. I don't have my judging credentials, so I can't.
They took
really
those away from you about
They
halfway
did.
through the season, I think. And this is a common sight if you're a Sooner fan and you've been here at these meets. KJ Kindler coaching the gymnast right before she goes on beam. This is KJ's event. And I talked to KJ about that, and I said sometimes, is that more about your routine before the gymnast goes, or is it important for that gymnast? And I think it's a combination of the two.
I think I definitely looked to my coach to give me that last minute correction or the confidence I needed before I go. So it's definitely appreciated by the athlete, I think, even if they don't necessarily talk to them about that. Unique mount onto the balance beam.
This is Carly Woodard, tied for 10th in the country on this event. She follows Nicole Glarman's 9.9.
Side aerial back handspring. Absolutely rock solid on that connection. Small balance check on that front toss to 2 feet landing.
The third gymnast up for Denver, Courtney Loper, got 9.85. So scores building for Denver, but struggling to keep pace with OU in this rotation.
A switch leap split jump for her dance connection on balance beam. Aerial to back full and sticks the landing. Had a few tiny balance checks throughout that routine, but finished the routine with that stick. It's the last thing the judges remember, so hopefully they're a little more forgiving on the deductions before that. Beautiful 180 switch leap to split jump. That connection of the aerial to back full. That should score well.
Carly comes out of Fusion Gymnastics in Kansas. One of her club coaches, Mike Heredia, who is across the country at the Big Ten Championships, coaching the University of Nebraska team now. This is Anna Palacios from Iowa State now going on the bars. She follows Megan Sievers' career high 9.9. Iowa State having quietly a very good competition.
Nice blind change to Pike Yeager. Short on that handstand. A beautiful bail to toe circle. Hitting that handstand on the high bar. Double layout. Pipes down to dismount. Unfortunately, has to take a step or two forward to control that.
And that was moments ago.
She just needed to bring her feet up a little bit higher before she let go of the bar to be able to have better rotation on that dismount. So she will have to take a 1 or 2 tenth deduction for that.
She got a 9.7 for that routine. Carly Woodard a 9.9, and now Anastasia Webb, who has scored a 10 on this event. Denver on floor, Caitlin Shao in the 4 spot, just a 9.8. So while Oklahoma is getting 9.9s, Denver is getting scores in the 9.8. Slowly creeping away are the Sooners.
Macro series with that handspring step out, layout, step out. absolutely stunning.
Talking to assistant coach Lou Ball, he said of Anastasia that she doesn't realize how great she is. She doesn't see herself the way other people see her. She really is one of the best gymnasts in the country, highly ranked in the all-around, currently leading this Big 12 all-around competition after 2 events as well.
Switch lead to lead. Small fighting to correct that little balance check she was not trying to have. Aerial to back full. Sticks it.
Now they're sticking landings.
I'm saying
2 in a row.
995.
There you go. She's got her judging hat back on, people. Thanks, Alicia.
The credentials are back. That series was textbook. If you want to see what the definition of back handspring lat step out looks like, that was it.
Just a sophomore. A couple more great years ahead for Anastasia Webb here at Oklahoma. This is Natalia Ross Baquer. She is from Mallorca, Spain. It's a very international flavor for this Iowa State team, and that is by design. Coach Jay Ronayne knows there's a limited amount of talent in the United States, and it's tough to get those kids. So he is looking overseas with the help of Nilson Savage. That man right there has got a lot of connections, hoping to make a jump nationally with these international athletes.
Stuck that double layout dismount. That was a nice bar set for Iowa State.
And that was moments ago, and that is a 9.9.
Everybody holding the mat so it doesn't move.
And that is a career high for Natalia. So far the plan looks like it's paying off, Jay Ronayne. Lindsey Brown is going to be the last gymnast to go for Denver on floor exercise. Maddie Carr went moments ago. She does get the 9.9, the first 9.9 for Denver in the floor rotation. Maggie Nichols, meanwhile, is mounting the balance beam in the anchor position for Oklahoma. This is a great head-to-head between 2 of the best in the competition.
Both of these athletes can potentially score 10.0s on these events. Lindsey Brown opening up with a huge double layout on floor exercise.
Well, you're going to lose your judging hat again because Anastasia Webb just a 9.875 for that beam routine. Not sure where they found that, but doesn't break a 9.9.
Lindsey Brown, 1.5 to front layout to Sassone. Definitely had a little too much height on that 1.5 into the connection, but she made it work.
Managed to stay very clean. Could have been a disaster.
You have to be really strong to be able to control that and not fall flat back on that second skill.
Meanwhile, Maggie Nichols chasing perfection so far on this beam routine.
Huge double pike for Brown. Maggie Nichols just nailed that beam dismount too.
Third stick in a row. Woo. And Lindsey Brown answers with her outstanding floor routine. Both of these heavyweights doing what they need to do with their big anchor position gymnasts, Lindsey Brown, Maggie Nichols.
Strong anchors for both teams.
And Denver just trying to keep it close, trying to keep it within striking distance as they go to vault, and Oklahoma will finish on the floor exercise.
Lindsey finished the routine very strong with that nice double pike, well controlled.
Maggie Nichols not doing the all-around this season, which has been tough for her, but she has stepped it up on her 2 events.
The round off, 1.5 dismount blind landing. She knows exactly where she was. She stuck that cold. It was a great routine for Maggie.
And a smile on her face, and she has really stepped into that leadership role even more this year. While she's not doing the all-around, she knows she can still be such an important part of this team even when she's not doing gymnastics. Lindsey Brown, a 9.875. Certainly they're hoping for something in the 9.9s for them. Maggie Nichols, a 9.95. So those judges not wanting to give away that 10.0. So one more event to go. Oklahoma's score on the balance beam of 49.475. A couple tenths off their season high. They put up some huge numbers this season. Oklahoma, they extend the lead, they double it, half a point over the Denver Pioneers. It still should be an interesting final rotation. Oklahoma on floor when we come back. Welcome back to the Lloyd Noble Center. We are through 3 rotations. Oklahoma, after trailing after 1, they have slowly extended their lead. Now it's to half a point over the Denver Pioneers. 1 event left to go. Denver will be on the vault. Oklahoma will be on the floor exercise. West Virginia on the uneven bars, and Iowa State on beam. We're going to look back at some of the best performances of this competition that we have not had a chance to see. This is Maddie Carr on bars.
Maddie did some great connections on this event and then finished the routine with a beautiful stuck double layout.
Here's Iowa State's Megan Sievers.
Performing a handspring front pike half vault. You don't see that very much in the NCAA. Very well performed. And she got a great score for that.
And of course, the great one on the balance beam.
Maggie Nichols putting up a 9.95, an absolute rock star on balance beam. She may not be able to do the all-around, but she is going to be doing big hits when she is competing.
There is Maggie Nichols. Now she will be a spectator on this last event. Here's your all-around standings. Anastasia Webb holding on to that top spot, a half a tenth ahead of Maddie Carr. Quite a battle up there, but don't forget Lindsey Brown. She is only a tenth back. It extends a little more when you get down to Brenna Dow, but really, you had mentioned those top 4 are going to battle it out, and it looks like that will be just the case. Less than 2 tenths separating first and 4th place. We will have that title decided in this final rotation, as well as the 2019 Big 12 team champions when we come back to rotation 4. Welcome back after 3 rotations. Again, Oklahoma with a half a point lead over the visiting Denver Pioneers. Iowa State currently sitting in 3rd. They have about a 4/10 lead over the West Virginia Mountaineers. Nice little battle between those 2 teams. And man, I could eat a lot of cereal out of that, Alicia. That is a beautiful Big 12 team title trophy. I wonder what KJ Kindler does with the other 10 that she has sitting at home. We mentioned she's going for a record 8 in a row. Denver on the vault. This is Alexandria Ruiz. She is a freshman out of Lake Murray, Florida, in Ace Gymnastics. There is KJ Kindler. 13 seasons here at Oklahoma. She actually came from Iowa State. When she left, that's where when Jay Ronayne stepped in as the head coach there. They have had the #1 ranking since they first stepped on the floor at the beginning of the season. Five individual athletes as well. Tons of individual honors. There's Melissa Kuchar-Reinhardt, 21 seasons as a leader of that Denver Pioneer team. This has been a record-setting season for the Pioneers. 7 meets streak of 197 plus. That's a record. Top 5 ranking. That's a record. An entire season in the top 10. That is a record for the Pioneers. They are pushing themselves to be a regular at the top, and you got to think that national championship for Denver might be in the cards sometime here in the future. Now we're ready to get things going, and we are going to start with Alexandria Ruiz. Melissa Reinhardt Kuchar said that not to make excuses for her team, because she wasn't when she said this, but it's just the challenge of being a student athlete. This is finals week for them, and they're actually proctoring final exams while they're here in Oklahoma, so it is a challenge to be a student athlete.
Yurchenko full. Nice controlled landing, just a small hop in place. She's a tiny little thing. She had a good amount of height and distance for that vault.
So this is Anastasia Webb leading off, and as you can see, the first gymnast up, and she has a chance to clinch if she can get a 9.975 on this event, and she is outstanding here. She has scored a 9.95. This would be a career high for her to clinch the all-around on this routine.
Anastasia's first pass up front double full. very well controlled. Second tumbling pass, round up 1.5 to front full. Had to take a step back for her lunge, which shows the judges that the skill wasn't really completely rotated around. They always want to see a step forward. Anytime there's going to be a step backwards in a front tumbling pass, they're going to take a deduction for that. Tour jeté half, split full. Front handspring, front 1.5. That was a nice routine, but I don't think it's going to be a 9.975.
Just a few little errors, and when you're basically flirting with perfection to clinch, that looks like it won't do it, but that does not mean that she can't win that all-around title. There's a few gymnasts to go that certainly could move ahead of her, but she will set the bar right here. Give a target to those other all-arounders trying to claim that crown.
The front handspring, front 1.5. Anastasia has beautiful form in her gymnastics. Everything's well controlled.
So job is complete for Anastasia Webb, and now another all-arounder, Abby Kaufman. Not really in contention for the all-around title, but certainly wants to finish strong for West Virginia and maybe move ahead of Iowa State for that third spot.
Free hip to its giant Takacha. Failed handstand, slight leg separation as she was tapping through the low bar. Short on that handstand on the high bar. Double leg dismount, had to pike it down, took a decent sized step on that landing.
Another consistent day for Abby Kaufman. Now this is Jordan Draper in the second spot. Anastasia Webb just a 9. I say just, it's a good 9.85 in the leadoff spot. Alexandria Ruiz a 9.8. And Caitlin Shaw a 9.85 for Denver on vault.
Whip half to front full. Second tumbling pass for Jordan coming your way. Front handspring, front full, front layout. Great connection pass.
Jordan really represents one of those gymnasts KJ Kindler was talking about that had to step up amongst some of the challenges that this team has had, some of the injuries in particular. She only did floor a few times last season, but she has stepped in as a regular this year and has done a great job. Has a high of a 9.95 this season.
Another great hit for Oklahoma. Her last tumbling pass, the front full to front layout. Only a 2 tumbling pass routine for Jordan. That means she has enough bonus points to get to a 10.0 without a third pass.
Mia Sundstrom on vault moments ago for Denver.
Yurchenko full, a lot of height on that vault. Just needed to absorb that landing, needed to bend through her knee. She almost was close to doing lock leg on that just a bounce in place.
That was a 9.8, so 3 9.8s and 1 9.85 for the first 4 gymnasts for Denver on vault. Not the type of scores that they need to catch Oklahoma, but solid nonetheless. Now we go to one of our all-around contenders. Needs a 9.975 on this vault to clinch the all-around, Maddie Carr.
Nice Yurchenko 1.5 to a stick. That was huge.
This is going to be interesting. The judges have not wanted to give that 10 on some routines. Quite frankly, I thought could have deserved it. Wouldn't have been surprised to see a 10. Will they do it here or at least give her enough to clinch the all-around?
Nice form, legs glued together. I mean, come on.
It's pretty textbook. I've seen a few that have been higher, but that was pretty outstanding. Now we got Emma LaPinta. She is a freshman out of Frisco, Texas. She's the third gymnast up for Oklahoma. Jordan Draper, a 9.85. So a pair of 9.85s for Oklahoma so far on floor.
First tumbling pass. Triple full. Piked it down, unfortunately, causing her to have an uncontrolled landing. Front full, front layout.
Oh, and the first big air from Oklahoma.
Now, we were talking before. Oklahoma could technically have 2 falls and have to count one of them. So they have a 1 fall cushion, and Denver still wouldn't be able to beat them.
It just got more interesting, though.
Definitely.
This is the halfway point for Oklahoma on floor, Emma being the third gymnast up. So they've got 3 gymnasts to go. They can go big, but certainly makes things a little more interesting. Unfortunate mistake, and their coaching staff said, the Oklahoma coaching staff said they're working a little bit on her competitive edge, and you can see Tom Haley, one of the assistant coaches, talking with her, just working on her competitive edge. She tends to get a little bit anxious, not sure if that's what happened there, but Maddie Carr gets a 9.95 for her vault. Now this is Lindsey Brown.
She performs a Yurchenko 1.5 as well.
Oh my goodness.
Huge.
A much bigger vault than Maddie Carr, but she had that hop.
Yes, definitely a higher vault. She probably had another foot of height over her teammate Maddie Carr, but did have that small hop in the landing, but absolutely beautiful Yurchenko 1.5.
So we talked about how it was getting interesting. Maddie Carr and Lindsey Brown both finished with 9.95s on vault. At the same time, Emma LaPinta has a fall on floor exercise. 3 gymnasts to go for Oklahoma. If they have a major break, it is going to be we're going to be splitting hairs to figure out who is going to come out on top. This is an opportunity. We'll see what happens. That's Jay Degovea. Certainly someone who can put up a big number on this event. She's 14th in the country. She has scored a 9.975 on this event. And she has got her game face on, Alicia. There's no joking around right now. Emma LaPinta a 9.075, so obviously a very low score. If they can hit these last 3, they will not count that score. Pressure's on the home team Sooners.
Jade's first tumbling pass. Front 1.5. Looks like she was trying to go for something else. Covered it up.
This is going to be very interesting to see how the judges handle this. The door is continuing to swing open.
Front layup to front full second tumbling pass.
Oklahoma's 5 counting scores on floor need to average a 9.875 for them to win. Right now they have 2 counting scores at 9.85. They want to drop that 9.075, so the rest of these scores need to be higher than a 9.875 for Oklahoma to win its 8th straight Big 12 team title.
Round off 1.5 front layout.
There you can see the scores on the right.
Jade finished the routine strong, but you could definitely tell that was a major error in that first tumbling pass. And unfortunately, her face kind of showed it too, because she knew that she messed something up.
We are going to be leaning heavily on my man next to me, Greg Campbell. He's our statistician, because depending on what the judges do with that, Denver could be sitting on the bench watching themselves clinch their first ever Big 12 team title. Denver's only been in the Big 12 for 4 years. They were added to the Big 12 conference 4 years ago, so this would be a big deal for them. Oklahoma doing a great job with these championships. They've had this event here before, and the Sooner organization always gracious hosts and put on a very outstanding event. Don't forget, too, gymnastics fans, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. We'll have the final session of the SEC Championships, and that is going to be a good one. 4 highly ranked teams battle it out, all of them in the top 10 in the nation. So that one is truly up for grabs. Any one of those 4 teams can walk away with it. They also had 4 teams in the early session today that will also be in the mix for that title as well. So the SEC, really, in eyes of many, the toughest conference in women's gymnastics. This is Grace Woolfolk, freshman, finishing up the balance beam rotation for Iowa State. They have had 1 fall from Molly Russ, so hoping to drop that score.
Very nice back handspring layup, step out.
Hoping to hold off the West Virginia Mountaineers for that 3rd spot. Jade Degovea, a 9.675, so the judges hit her for that mistake. Crunching numbers here.
They're doing a little judges conference over there about that score. Not sure if that's going to stick. Small balance check on balance beam.
And I got to think that conference is about the start value and what they're going to give Jade for that pass.
Round off 1.5 twist. Oh, almost had that stick, just a small hop.
I tell you what, Iowa State has quietly gone through this competition, and they have had a solid performance. They did have that fall earlier in this rotation, but
just fighting for that stick on that 1.5.
Jay Ronayne said the best season they've had in 10 years, and they showed it here today. It'll be interesting to see if that ranking will go up as they head into regionals. And here's the conference for Jade Degovea's floor routine, certainly talking about start value. They cannot change the execution part of the score, but they can address start value, and this is critical because if that score stands, that 9.675 for Jade, the next 2 gymnasts for Oklahoma need to combine for a 19.975 for Oklahoma still to win this title. And if you're doing the math at home, and I didn't make it past basic algebra, that is a tough score to get. And that is unofficial. We don't know for sure. That's just some quick number crunching up here.
She does only a 1.5, does that big jump and step, and her foot almost goes out of bounds too. So no flag went up for the out of bounds, but it definitely might affect her start value because to me, it looked like she was going to do a front double full and then opened up early.
Clearly a combination pass that she did not do the combination. Now Brenna Dowell, she has been at the biggest stage in women's gymnastics. She's been at the World Championships. She was part of a team that won gold. She's an elite competitor, been at the Olympic trials. Become such a pivotal part of this team this season. Really developed into quite a leader, according to Lou Ball and KJ Kindler. Here's the uneven bar results for West Virginia. Solid performance. They will drop that 9.6. There's Jay Ronayne. He's got a smile on his face, and he should. They had a solid performance today. His gymnast, freshman Grace Woolfolk, gets a 9.7 in the final spot on balance beam. So Jade actually goes down to a 9.575. We'll crunch the numbers, see what these last 2 gymnasts need. Here's Brenna Dowell. The one thing we do know is she needs to be virtually perfect.
Struggled a bit on balance beam, looking to redeem herself from floor. Starts with a front handspring, front double pike, which is insanely hard, and she made that look easy.
That skill is called the dowel. She performed it at the World Championships, and they named it for her, the first one to do it.
Second tumbling pass. Round off 1.5, front lay. Torch day half, straddle full. Brenna just has her last tumbling pass. Front layout, front full to stag jump.
So we're updating our numbers quickly. We're a few tenths high with our estimate. 19.6 now, I'm being told, between these two gymnasts, Brenna Dowell and Olivia Troutman. Certainly something they can do. That is a 9.8 average. Absolutely, Brenna Dowell will score over that.
She'll definitely be able to get that score. That front handspring, front double pike, absolutely huge. Can't get over how difficult that skill is. In the front 1.5 to the back 1.5 to front layout connection pass. Beautiful routine, very well constructed with the distribution of difficulty.
Number 6 in the country is Brenna Dowell in floor exercise. She has a high of a 9.975 this season. I do believe that will be in the 9.9 range, but Alicia, certainly the new number, the 19.6, is certainly doable, but keep in mind, Olivia Troutman's last up. She has gone big on this event. She has scored a perfect 10 on this event, but a step out of bounds, and you can wash that all away, and it is razor thin in the sport of gymnastics between perfection and mistake, and it's all on a freshman's shoulders right now.
It's a lot of pressure for, initially a newcomer.
She needs a 9.675, I'm being told, to clinch the team championship. Brenna Dowell got a 9.925. Certainly a score that Olivia Troutman is more than capable of. But as we talked about, mistakes can happen in an instant.
Olivia opening up with a double layout and nails it.
Beautiful. Olivia comes out of Champlin, Minnesota, and Twin City Twisters Gymnastics, the same gym that Maggie Nichols comes from, as well as Maddie Carr. Unbelievable program they have up there.
Front layout to front full to a Sassone or split jump. I'm not really sure which one that was supposed to be, because it was a 180 split that moved forwards.
By the look on her face, she does not seem to realize the gravity of this routine. Just needs to land on her feet one more time.
Torch day half, straddle full. So far that 9.675 will be an easy score for her to get. And I think she just clinched it for Oklahoma.
Wow, it got interesting big time. We did not see that one coming, but Oklahoma opened the door. Denver looked like they were going to step through, but the freshman Olivia Troutman slams it back. And it looks to be that Oklahoma will indeed win their 8th conference championship in a row.
That nice double layout first pass with room to spare on the backside of the corner. Front layout to front full connection pass to Sassone. Then finish that routine strong with a nice controlled double back. The team knows that she clenched it just with the end of that routine. So jazzed up.
The veteran Maggie Nichols with some encouragement.
What? I'm seeing 2 10s from 2 judges.
Waiting for the final score. We're seeing some 10s, a 9.975. Olivia Troutman puts on the exclamation point. Oklahoma will be your 2019 Big 12 Gymnastics champions, their 8th straight title. Congratulations, Sooner Nation. Certainly the Denver Pioneers are looking on thinking, man, what might have been, because they certainly gave away some 10s throughout the competition. No major breaks, but they gave away a little here and there, and certainly they can say, what if? But Oklahoma certainly gave them that opportunity to open that door for them.
Definitely. Neither team was perfect, and they had some spots where they needed to have some improvements. But you know what? Season's not over yet. We still have regionals, and then we still have nationals. So these teams can go back to the gym and start, fine-tuning those areas that need to be improved.
We're going to wrap things up. KJ Kindler grudgingly has a smile on her face. They are the 2019 Big 12 team champions.